Alrighty, what's up guys? Skill Up here, Division video, sort of. Let's start at the very beginning. A few years back, this dude named James Cameron, he's kind of a big deal. He's directed like True Lies, he's directed Terminator 2, Titanic, Aliens, The Abyss, like heaps of other movies that all made squillions of dollars. And he also directed this movie called Avatar. Now, Avatar was this like weird blue monkey movie. Humans were coming in because they want to like take down some big tree. There's a tribe there, they want to stop it. It was like, whatever, who cares, right? No big deal. Lots of people cared. How many people? Well, actually, Avatar was the highest grossing film of all time. And I'm talking like bigger than Force Awakens, bigger than the Avengers, bigger than any of the Harry Potter movies, bigger than anything in fact. Avatar to this day, released in 2009, is still the largest grossing film in the history of film. So Avatar is a really, really big deal. So fast forward a few years to like, well, last week really, and Massive Entertainment, makers of The Division, a Ubisoft studio, announced that they are going to be making a game based on the Avatar universe. Right now, many of you are thinking, what the actual fuck is going on here? Why is Massive doing this? I'm so confused. And you'd be kind of right to think that, so let's explain why they're doing this. Avatar made so much goddamn money and James Cameron loved it so much that he decided he would make a sequel. Wait, scratch that. Not make one sequel, he's making 4 sequels to this movie. 2018 will be the first one in December, and then every 2 years after that we are going to get an Avatar film. There are going to be 5 Avatar films in total, and James Cameron is writing and directing all of them. Now, the fact that a director of his pedigree, of his scale, of his money-making potential, the fact that he is making a saga 4 more movies long is a very, very big deal. And the fact that Massive got the rights to this is a huge deal indeed. Let's not forget how many people view The Division, right? So there's you and I that are sitting here now, and we know The Division is this like flawed masterpiece, right? It's really great on the surface, it looks incredible, plays beautifully most of the time, but my fucking god, are there a lot of problems with it, right? So that's one lens that we, as like people close to The Division, really sort of like, that's how we view this game. And then there's like the commercial side of it, which is to say that it was produced in the Snowdrop engine, and it produced one of the most detailed realizations of a world that's perhaps ever been put into a video game. Like, New York in this game is truly spectacular. Secondly, that game, when it was released, The Division, was actually the largest debuting IP in the history of video games. No other game, new IP, no other new IP made more money than The Division on launch back when it was released. It was a very, very big deal and a very successful launch for Ubisoft. So it really showed people outside our little bubble who like play The Division every day. It showed a lot of things. It shows that Massive know how to make a really beautiful engine in the Snowdrop engine. It shows that they know how to use that engine to create a perfectly realized, very detailed world. And it shows they know how to make a large-scale blockbuster that makes more money than any other debuting game ever. Now, these 3 things are a perfect fit for the world of Avatar. If we're talking big blockbuster movie, obviously they are going to be thinking big blockbuster game to go with it. So the fit there is very neat indeed. Now, there's 2 ways that Massive can go with this. The first is to produce some really cheap, boring, crappy, nonsense, rubbish, ignore it kind of movie tie-in game, like pretty much every movie tie-in game ever, other than like GoldenEye maybe. So that's one path that they can do with it, but I very much doubt that they will do that. Why? Well, firstly, let's talk about Massive. Like, Massive aren't the people to just go safe on anything. If they wanted to go safe, there's no way they would have gone a project as large as The Division, where they'd never done anything like that before. They would never have introduced the Dark Zone, which is super controversial, and many people have been calling for it to be changed or completely removed, but Massive has refused because they are so true to their vision and they just want to keep it going. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I actually really respect the fact that they're willing to back themselves to that degree. Massive are visionaries. They are flawed visionaries, to be sure. They get things wrong a lot, but they do not aim for the small time. They go for the fences every time they swing at something. So I really do think it's quite unlikely that we can expect some small time crappy movie tie-in that will be very quickly forgotten. Secondly, and I think most importantly, Massive is currently the jewel in Ubisoft's development crown. They have a number number of different studios around the world, but Massive is in fact their largest and by merit like most successful given the scale of the launch of The Division last year. While stuff like Rainbow Six Siege is surging ahead in terms of growth and popularity, the fact is nothing made more money than The Division did, and Massive is their largest studio. It's nearly 400 people strong, by the way, and that doesn't even include the contributions of other organizations like Red Storm or Reflections or any of the other smaller studios that also helped make The Division possible. So it's very unlikely that Ubisoft are going to waste their biggest and most important studio making a shitty movie tie-in game. So what does this mean? I think that Massive are actually going to go fairly large on this, and I think we can actually expect something fairly special. Sky is really the limit when it comes to this game that Massive are going to be working on because, you know, obviously James Cameron's vision is going to be absolutely huge. Massive have the opportunity to take the world he is building and build some gigantic game franchise out of it, the likes of which we've never seen when it comes to like a movie game tie-in. Because don't forget, the stage is already set in that world for some kind of like persistent online universe with two warring factions. You have got the humans, and then you have got the Avatar blue space monkey things, whatever they are. There's no reason that you couldn't have some kind of like warring faction thing going on all the time between the two of them. Base this thing around like World of Warcraft MMO or Destiny persistent online or The Division persistent online, or all sorts of directions are possible with this game. Now obviously no details have been released about this whatsoever, but my point is I really don't expect this to be some cheap 3D platformer tie-in. I expect Massive to go very, very large indeed, and I don't think there'd be anything stopping them given the size and scale of Avatar when it is released. So the big question, which I know all of you are asking right now, is what the fuck does this mean for The Division 2? Is it cancelled? Now, that's a loaded question because it kind of assumes that Division 2 is already coming, and I guess we kind of need to talk about that. Unquestionably, Division 2 is in development right now. The DLC that we have seen coming in this game thus far has been very, very small time. Massive have about 400 people working for them, and if you look at their hiring page right now, they are hiring about 100 people at least, and they're showing no signs whatsoever of slowing down. There's also Reflections who are in the mix as well, who also support the Division, and of course Red Storm, who take the lead on the PvP stuff. Now there is no way you are ever going to convince me that all of those people that currently work at this studio have been working on the DLC that we have received over the last 12 months. There is no way you will convince me of that. That is too many people to work on the delivery of the underground and updating the weapons, or to deliver the Last Stand game mode plus update the exotics. Like, I'm sorry, but no. Like, I guarantee you development of Division 2 is currently underway with plans for a sequel like either next year or the year after that. And in a recent Kotaku article, Ubisoft did confirm that they have every intention that Massive will continue to serve the Division license long into the future. And I quote, "Avatar's development has no impact on the team working on The Division or on our plans to continuously support and update the game and brand for the long term," a Ubisoft rep told Kotaku. "We're proud of what the team has accomplished with The Division, thankful for our community's dedication, and looking forward to sharing more about what's coming next for the game very soon." Guys, I guarantee you they're going to be talking to us about Year 2 updates. They've already confirmed that that's happening, but there is no way in hell that this many people are just working on Year 2 updates. No way, no how. Unquestionably, a sequel is on the menu right now, and I do expect we're going to start hearing about that at E3 this year to start building that hype train. So, what do we know? We know that Massive are working on an Avatar game that has its own dedicated team that is not going to impact The Division whatsoever. We know that Massive is a studio of about 400 people, and it's still hiring more people, at least about 100 of them. Many of those people are being hired specifically for The Division. We know that it does not take 450 people to make DLC, so I think it's pretty safe for us to assume right now that The Division 2 is still coming, and we know that Massive are delivering it because Ubisoft specifically told us in this Kotaku article that they are going to be taking the lead on the license into the future. I know a lot of this is speculation, but guys, I go to you with things when I feel like they're true, and I'll be stunned if what I've just told you in this video is not true. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments below about the idea of a Division sequel. I know it is a big change for people, but I'd be really interested to see, do people want that? Or do they just want Massive to stick with the existing game? How long would they want them to stick with the game for? 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? Is there ever going to be a sequel? Is it a case of let's just expand it forever like World of Warcraft does without ever having a sequel? What do you think is going to be best for the future? I am genuinely interested to see that, because I know that that's going to be a very hot topic of discussion very soon, as I know Yannick and Hamish are just about to unveil their Year 2 DLC plans, since they hinted as much on this week's State of the Game. Guys, if you liked the video and you found it useful, do drop it a like. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.